Atom Smasher might be a construct. This is an idea I've surprisingly found not talked about much in the cyberpunk community, whether it be the source books, anime, or video game. I've only found obscure comments about it online, often leaving it up in the air without any real thought. I'm here to pick up the slack though. We will be doing a dive into this theory further than anyone else has gone. If you're a fan of the Cyberpunk series and its vast lore spanning since the late 1980s, I'd suggest checking out my channel and subscribing. This way you can keep up to date on the newest mysteries and lore of Cyberpunk 2077 and its predecessors. Now, we can begin. To set the framework for this theory, I'm going to have to explain a few things to begin with. A digital neural engram, or simply construct, is the construct of consciousness of an individual who has been copied into coding form. They are created using the program called Soulkiller, and many believe are the way to achieve immortality. So of course, this theory proposes that Atom Smasher has been zapped with Soulkiller in some way, shape, or form in order to become a construct. An idea that sparked into my head back during the release of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, in which it was made blatantly clear to us during David's death that Smasher is well aware of Soulkiller and its resulting constructs.
You know, you could prove an interesting construct.
Whatever, Choom. Like I give a shit.
Oh, well.
So, this sets the foundation for Smasher to not only be aware of the existence of engrams, but also of the process in which they are created, seeing as his follow-up to David's remark is to shotgun his skull into mush, blocking any possibility of a construct being produced, and performing a classic Bastard Smasher move, hurting the entire fanbase. Let's take a look at this from the perspective of Atom Smasher. There's no real negative to this procedure that is made outwardly apparent to any players, DMs, or analysts. As we all would know at this point, Atom Smasher isn't a big fan of meat. No, I don't mean he tends to opt for body conversions that lack genitalia, seeing as Michiko Arasaka actually had a fling with Smasher back in her teenage years, while he was in an Elvis Presley conversion. That's for another video. What I mean, obviously, is Smasher has zero empathy, an essential stat in the tabletop games that represent a player's humanity. Even on Smasher's stat block, it pokes fun at such an idea, stating, "Yeah, right." So why does his lack of humanity matter in relation to becoming a construct? Well, there's two reasons behind why I bring this up. Smasher finds being a human absolutely disgusting, and becoming a construct would solve a major issue of his. A full body conversion still maintains a portion of your original being, your biosystem, which is essentially your brain and nervous system. Being a construct would allow for the final portion of his meat to theoretically be completely pointless. Therefore, Smasher would achieve the form he has always wished for. A complete conversion. 100% metal, 0% meat. Okay, we all know Smasher is a douchebag who loves being a walking hunk of metal. Why should we think he's already a construct though? Well, besides the benefits we have established, there is a key inconsistency that points to the idea that Smasher is a construct, capable of transferring between different bodies. Now, I want to give some thanks to Alex Julia. He commented about this detail to me that feels as though it could very well reinforce the idea that Smasher is a construct. It pushed me to dig where I could and establish some further details. Alex stated that during the 2023 assault on Arasaka Tower, Atom Smasher is said to have used a Samson up to the point he fought Morgan Blackhand on the roof, where he is in a Dai-Oni. The Dai-Oni, according to its entry in the Black Chrome books, needs hours of preparation before being fielded, all which are done with a biopod inside. But the timeline of everything happening that night is too short for Smasher to have switched bodies and be run through all Dai-Oni stages of activation, leaving aside the fact that the biopod in a Dai-Oni is drugged up to the gills as a matter of procedure to keep it from going completely berserk. If we look into the Firestorm Shockwave sourcebook, we can locate an entry on Atom Smasher that clearly states on page 22, Atom Smasher is built on a heavily modified Samson frame, While I haven't found a direct statement on what he is wearing during his surprise attack on Silverhand's crew, it seems extremely likely he is in the Samson frame. This would be the only scenario players can be involved with Smasher, so it's assumed that the DM would be expected to use this specific build. In other words, this would be his canon build, as no one in the group makes note of him looking any different than what is expected. It is only on page 140, during Smasher's duel with Morgan Blackhand, that is officially stated during the specific fight that Adam Smasher in the Dai-Oni battlesuit confronts him on the roof. Morgan Blackhand is even initially taken aback by Smasher's appearance and armor, showing a clear division between the battle with Silverhand's crew and the duel with Blackhand. To further drive the idea that this very well could have been a construct transfer, you need to have an understanding of the Dai-Oni set. The Dai-Oni is an armor set, not the full body conversion itself. There's a major requirement though. The Dai-Oni requires an Alpha class cyborg body in opposition to Smasher's Samson body. So in between battle with Silverhand and Blackhand, Smasher would have to completely transition between two full body conversions, then also have the Dai-Oni armor assembled and activated. There's absolutely no way that he would have the time to do this, meaning that for the transition to occur, he would absolutely need to be a construct. There is one more tactic though, within the Brainware Blowout sourcebook that is in canon composed by Raish Bartmoss, the legendary netrunner behind the data crash, we learn of an extremely interesting program. This would be the Emergency Self Construct, a setup that is supposed to save runners from being killed by anti-personnel attacks. If a runner with this suffers damage to the mortal stage, the program kicks in and drains their intellect and memories into an electronic entity. Given the ICE and programs installed in a Smasher by Arasaka, it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility that Smasher has this prepared, seeing as the last thing Arasaka wants is to let their most prized dog die, meaning that during his duel with Morgan or even V, Smasher could survive. I have some bad news though. I believe there's too much conflicting information to feel completely reassured in this theory. The first of which being that Smasher, when scanned in 2077, appears as 96% cybernetic, leaving the expected 4% meat from a biopod during a full body conversion. While this could be explained by the fact it's possible for a soul-killed body to remain in use by the newly produced engram, it wouldn't line up with Smasher's ideologies. The moment Smasher would be capable of abandoning his meat, he would. There'd be no sense walking around in it for another 5 decades. Furthering this is the fact we have no idea if an engram could function in a 100% cybernetic body. We have evidence that a biopod can function in things such as a vehicle, but the tech behind an engram is vastly different, and this idea remains untested. The next was already stated, but I couldn't find hard evidence that Smasher was in his Samson frame early in the 2023 raid. Alongside this, he still has Shaitan's biopod once he reaches the rooftop to duel Blackhand. It's likely that during the entire raid, he was suited in his Dai-Oni armor, which might even explain his late appearance to intercept Silverhand's crew. Overall, I think this is an extremely interesting theory, and has some possibility of being canon, but it's near impossible to reach a verdict on. All the conflicting information leaves me to have to deny the theory from being completely grounded. Smasher is likely still his tiny little self in his tiny little biopod. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know all your thoughts down below, and if you have any further information to refute or support this theory. Do you personally believe Smasher is a construct, or do you believe he remains a regular full body conversion? I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you to every member on screen. I appreciate the support you all have provided me, and couldn't ever find the proper words to say thanks. If you'd like to become a member as well, memberships are now open for as little as $1 a month. You can get some perks such as emoticons, icons, your name in the end scroll of each video, and much more. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, Chooms.